Beloved, before you continue carrying the weight that has been resting on your heart, I want you to be still for a moment and allow these words to settle within you. You have been carrying thoughts that few people know about. You have smiled when others expected you to smile. You have continued moving forward when others assumed everything was fine. Yet beneath the surface, there have been questions. There have been concerns. There have been quiet moments when you wondered whether anyone truly understood what you were feeling. I understand. I see the burdens you rarely speak about. I see the disappointments you have learned to hide. I see the hopes you protect because you fear they may be broken again. And today, my child, I want you to know that these words are not arriving by accident. They are arriving because I know exactly what your heart needs. What you call coincidence, I call guidance. What you call timing, I call purpose. What you call an ordinary moment, I call an appointed encounter. You have spent too much time believing that you are facing your struggles alone. Yet I have been present through every chapter. I was present during the victories that made you celebrate. I was present during the losses that made you cry. I was present during the seasons when your faith felt strong, and I remained present during the seasons when your faith felt fragile. My presence does not disappear because your circumstances become difficult. My faithfulness does not weaken because your strength feels limited. The prophet spoke of how I know every path my people take and remain aware of every step they walk. Psalm 139. This truth is not meant to create fear. It is meant to create comfort. I know you completely, and yet I continue loving you completely. There is nothing hidden from my sight, and there is nothing about you that causes me to turn away. Consider Hagar in the wilderness. She felt forgotten. She felt abandoned. She believed she had been pushed aside and left alone. Yet in the place where she expected silence, she discovered that I had been watching over her all along. She learned that she was seen even when she felt invisible. So it is with you. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are not wandering through life unnoticed. I know where you are. I know what you carry. I know what has wounded you, and I know what I am preparing for you. My child, I know there are days when discouragement whispers to you. It speaks quietly, but consistently. It tells you that things will never change. It tells you that your prayers have gone unanswered. It tells you that your waiting has no purpose. Yet discouragement is not telling you the truth. What you call delay, I call development. What you call waiting, I call preparation. What you call standing still, I call growing roots. You often want immediate answers, because immediate answers feel reassuring. But I see beyond the moment you are currently living. I see what is ahead. I see who you are becoming. I see the strength that is developing within you even now. The season you are walking through is not evidence that I have forgotten you. It is evidence that I am still working. The wisdom literature reminds you that everything has its appointed season and purpose. Ecclesiastes 3. Timing matters. Growth matters. Preparation matters. There are blessings that would become burdens if they arrived before you were ready to carry them. There are opportunities that would overwhelm you if they arrived before your character had been strengthened. Think about Joseph. He received a glimpse of his future long before he stepped into it. Years passed between the promise and the fulfillment. During those years, he experienced betrayal, disappointment, and uncertainty. Yet every difficult season became part of the preparation that would eventually position him for the assignment ahead. So it is with you. The waiting is not empty. The delay is not meaningless. I am preparing you while I prepare the path before you. Beloved, some of your deepest struggles have come from comparison. You have looked at the lives of others and wondered why their journey appears easier. You have questioned why certain doors opened for them while your own doors remained closed. You have measured your progress against someone else's timeline and concluded that you must be falling behind. But I did not create you to live another person's story. I created you to live yours. What you call falling behind, I call walking a different path. What you call being overlooked, I call being positioned. What you call less important, I call uniquely appointed. The apostle taught that different gifts are given to different people, yet every gift carries value and purpose. 1 Corinthians 12:4. Diversity is not a mistake within my design. It is part of my wisdom. Consider David. Before he became king, many people overlooked him. Even those closest to him failed to recognize the significance of what I had placed within him. Yet being overlooked by people did not prevent him from being chosen by me. So it is with you. Do not allow comparison to steal your peace. Do not allow another person's success to diminish your appreciation for your own journey. I am writing a story through your life that cannot be duplicated by anyone else. What I have called you to do requires the experiences, lessons, strengths, and even the scars that make your story unique. My child, there are dreams within you that have grown quiet, not because they disappeared, but because disappointment taught you to lower your expectations. You prayed for certain things. You hoped for certain outcomes. You imagined certain possibilities. Yet life unfolded differently than you expected. Over time, you began protecting your heart by expecting less. I understand why. Disappointment can be heavy. Uncertainty can be exhausting. Repeated delays can make hope feel risky. Yet, I want you to hear me carefully today. What you call buried, I call planted. What you call finished, I call unfinished. What you call impossible, I call an opportunity for my faithfulness. The prophet described a vision in which places that appeared lifeless became filled with new life through my power. Ezekiel 37:1-14. Restoration is one of the ways I reveal my goodness. Renewal is one of the ways I demonstrate my faithfulness. Consider Sarah. Time passed. Expectations faded. Human logic suggested that certain hopes should be abandoned. Yet, my ability was never limited by human calculations. So it is with you. I am not asking you to force optimism. I am inviting you to trust me again. Not because every circumstance has changed, but because I remain faithful regardless of circumstances. There are dreams I am still breathing upon. There are hopes I am still nurturing. There are possibilities you have not yet seen. These words were written for you, my child. Not because you are perfect, but because you are loved. Not because you have every answer, but because I am guiding you. Not because your journey has been easy, but because I have remained with you through every step. And as you continue listening, allow your heart to rest. Allow your fears to quiet. Allow your spirit to remember that you are known, seen, and deeply loved by me. My child, there are moments when you feel tired in a way that rest alone cannot explain. Your body may pause, but your thoughts continue moving. Your responsibilities may lessen for a moment, but your concerns remain close to your heart. You have been carrying questions, expectations, responsibilities, and silent worries for so long that you have almost forgotten what it feels like to be truly at peace. Yet I see the weariness you carry. I see the burden that others do not notice. I see the effort it takes for you to keep moving forward when your strength feels limited. What you call weakness, I call an invitation to depend on me. What you call exhaustion, I call a reminder that you were never meant to carry every burden by yourself. I do not ask you to pretend that you are strong when you are tired. I do not ask you to hide your struggles behind a smile. I invite you to bring them to me. I invite you to place them in my hands. The psalmist described me as the one who restores the soul and leads weary hearts toward renewal. Psalm 23. Restoration is not simply about stopping. Restoration is about receiving. It is about allowing my peace to reach the places within you that have become weary from carrying too much for too long. Consider Elijah. After seasons of responsibility and spiritual struggle, he found himself exhausted. Before I gave him new direction, I allowed him to rest. Before I expanded his assignment, I strengthened his heart. Before I spoke about the future, I cared for him in the present. So it is with you. Do not feel guilty for needing rest. Do not believe that slowing down means you are failing. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is allow yourself to receive the strength that I am offering. I know your limits. I created you, and I know exactly how to renew what has become weary. Beloved, I know there are prayers you have prayed so many times that you wonder whether I still hear them. You have asked, you have trusted, you have waited, yet some answers seem distant. Some situations remain unchanged. Some doors remain closed. In those moments, it can be tempting to believe that your prayers have somehow been forgotten, but they have not been forgotten. Not one prayer has been lost. Not one tear has gone unnoticed. Not one moment of faith has escaped my attention. What you call silence, I call preparation. What you call delay, I call timing. What you call unanswered, I call unfinished. There are things happening beyond what you can currently see. There are circumstances being arranged. There are hearts being prepared. There are lessons being developed. There are pieces moving into place. The teachings of Jesus encouraged persistence in prayer, reminding believers that faithful prayer is never wasted before me. Luke 18:1-8. Prayer is not merely about receiving answers. Prayer is also about deepening relationship. It is about learning trust. It is about drawing near to me. Consider Hannah. For years, she carried a desire within her heart. The waiting was difficult. The longing was real. Yet the passage of time did not mean I had forgotten her. The answer arrived according to my timing, not because I had ignored her prayers, but because I had been working through the process. So it is with you. Continue praying. Continue trusting. Continue believing. I hear what you say before the words even leave your lips. I understand what you feel before you find language to express it. Your prayers matter. Your faith matters. Your trust matters. My child, there are times when you underestimate the significance of your life because your influence seems small. You look at others and see larger platforms, greater recognition, and more visible opportunities. Yet I want you to remember something important. Influence is not measured only by what is seen. What you call small, I call meaningful. What you call ordinary, I call powerful. What you call unnoticed, I call valuable. A kind word can change a person's day. A prayer can strengthen someone you may never fully understand. A moment of compassion can become a turning point in another person's story. You often underestimate the impact of simple faithfulness. The teachings of Jesus remind believers that even the smallest seed can become something much greater than anyone expected. Matthew 13. Growth often begins quietly. Purpose often unfolds gradually. Influence often develops long before it becomes visible. Consider the young boy who offered what little he had. His contribution appeared small compared to the needs surrounding him. Yet when placed into my hands, it became part of something far greater than he could have imagined. So it is with you. Stop measuring your value according to visibility. Stop assuming that significance depends upon recognition. Continue being faithful where you are. Continue showing kindness. Continue extending grace. Continue walking in integrity. What you place into my hands is never wasted. Beloved, there are wounds within your heart that were created by disappointment. Certain expectations were not fulfilled. Certain relationships changed. Certain opportunities disappeared. You trusted. You hoped. You believed. Yet things unfolded differently than you imagined. I understand the pain of disappointment. I understand the questions it creates. I understand the fear it leaves behind. Yet disappointment does not have the authority to define your future. What you call a closed chapter, I may call preparation for a new one. What you call loss I may call redirection. What you call the end, I may call a beginning. The prophet spoke of my ability to create new pathways where none seemed visible and to bring hope into places that appeared barren. Isaiah 43:19. New beginnings often emerge from places where old expectations ended. Growth often emerges from seasons of change. Consider Ruth. Her story included loss, uncertainty, and unexpected hardship. She could have allowed disappointment to determine her future. Instead, she continued walking faithfully, one step at a time. Over time, what appeared to be an ending became the doorway to a new chapter, filled with purpose. So it is with you. Do not assume that disappointment has the final word. Do not assume that because something ended, everything has ended. I am still writing your story. I am still opening doors. I am still creating possibilities. Trust me with the chapters you do not yet understand. My child, I want you to remember something today. You do not need to have every answer before taking the next step. You do not need complete certainty before moving forward. Faith grows one step at a time. Trust develops one day at a time. Relationship deepens through continual connection. What you call uncertainty, I call an opportunity for trust. What you call not knowing, I call learning to walk by faith. The psalmist described my guidance as a light that illuminates the path ahead, one step at a time. Psalm 1:9. I rarely reveal the entire journey at once, because I want you to learn to walk closely with me. So it is with you. Focus on today's step. Focus on today's faithfulness. Focus on today's opportunity to trust. Tomorrow will arrive with its own grace. The future will unfold according to my wisdom. And through every chapter, every season, every challenge, and every victory, I will remain faithful to you. You are not forgotten, beloved. You are not overlooked. You are not alone. These words were written for you because I know your heart. I know your struggles. I know your hopes. And I know the beautiful work I am continuing to accomplish within your life. Beloved, there are moments when you wonder whether you are truly becoming the person you were created to be. You look at your life and notice the areas where growth still feels slow. You see habits you are still overcoming. You see weaknesses that continue to challenge you. You see imperfections that make you question your progress. Yet I want you to understand something important. Growth is often quieter than you expect. Transformation is often happening even when you cannot immediately see it. What you call slow progress, I call steady development. What you call weakness, I call a place where my strength can work. What you call unfinished, I call a life that is still being shaped by my hands. Do not become discouraged simply because you have not yet arrived where you hope to be. The journey itself is part of the blessing. The process itself is part of the preparation. The apostle reminded believers that the good work I begin is something I continue faithfully until it reaches completion. Philippians 1. This means that your story is not dependent upon your perfection. It is dependent upon my faithfulness. I am still working. I am still shaping. I am still teaching. I am still guiding. Consider Peter. There were moments when his faith appeared strong and moments when fear interrupted his confidence. There were victories and mistakes. There were lessons learned through success and lessons learned through failure. Yet I never abandoned the work I was doing within him. His imperfections did not cancel his purpose. So it is with you. Do not focus only on how far you still have to go. Take time to recognize how far you have already come. The person you are today is not the same person you once were. I have been teaching you. I have been strengthening you. I have been transforming you in ways you may not fully recognize yet. My child, there are seasons when you feel hidden. You look around and see others receiving opportunities while you remain in the background. You watch doors open for others while your own season of visibility seems delayed. During those moments, it is easy to believe that being hidden means being forgotten. But being hidden is not the same as being forgotten. What you call hidden, I often call protected. What you call waiting in the background, I often call preparation. What you call being overlooked, I often call being developed, away from unnecessary distractions. Seeds grow beneath the surface, long before anyone sees evidence of life. Roots develop before branches appear. Strength is often established in hidden places before it becomes visible in public places. The prophet Isaiah spoke of those who trust in me, receiving renewed strength and learning to continue moving forward without losing heart. Isaiah 4. Strength is often developed during seasons when little appears to be happening externally. Consider David tending sheep in the fields. Those years seemed ordinary to many people, yet in those hidden places, courage was developing, character was developing, faith was developing. The private season prepared him for future responsibilities. So it is with you. Do not despise the hidden season. Do not assume that because fewer people see you, less is happening. Some of the most important work I do takes place where applause is absent and attention is limited. Trust what I am building within you. Beloved, there are times when you carry burdens that were never yours to carry. You take responsibility for outcomes you cannot control. You worry about situations beyond your influence. You replay conversations, decisions, and possibilities, hoping that somehow your concern can create certainty. But worry was never meant to be your source of security. What you call carrying responsibility, I sometimes call carrying unnecessary weight. What you call preparing for every possibility, I sometimes call exhausting yourself with things that belong in my hands. The teachings of Jesus encouraged believers to release anxiety and trust that the Father knows their needs. Matthew 6:25 through 34. Worry often focuses on what might happen. Faith focuses on who is present. Consider Martha. She became overwhelmed by many concerns and responsibilities. Her attention was divided by countless details. Yet peace was found not through carrying more, but through drawing closer. So it is with you. Release what you cannot control. Place your concerns in my hands. Trust me with the outcomes. Trust me with the future. Trust me with the things that keep you awake at night. I am capable of carrying what is too heavy for you. My child, I know there are moments when you feel misunderstood. You try to explain yourself, yet people only see part of the story. You wish others understood your intentions, your struggles, and your heart. Yet human understanding is often limited. What others misunderstand, I understand completely. What others overlook, I see clearly. What others misjudge, I know fully. The psalmist celebrated the truth that I know every thought, every concern, and every detail of a person's life. Psalm 139. One understanding of you is complete. I see both your strengths and your struggles. I see your victories and your wounds. I see your hopes and your fears. Consider Joseph. He experienced seasons in which others misunderstood him, doubted him, and treated him unfairly. Yet human misunderstanding could not stop my purpose from unfolding within his life. So it is with you. Do not build your identity upon the opinions of people. Do not measure your worth according to how well others understand your journey. Rest in the knowledge that I know you completely. My understanding is deeper than human perception, and my love for you remains constant. Beloved, one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself is the permission to trust my timing. You often want immediate clarity because uncertainty feels uncomfortable. Yet some blessings require preparation. Some answers require patience. Some opportunities require growth. What you call delay, I call timing. What you call waiting, I call development. What you call a closed door, I may call protection. The wisdom literature reminds believers that everything unfolds according to its proper season. Ecclesiastes 3. Timing matters, because purpose matters. I am not rushing your story. I am shaping it. Consider Abraham. There were years between the promise and the fulfillment. During those years, trust was being strengthened. Faith was being developed. The waiting became part of the preparation. So it is with you. Trust my timing, even when you do not fully understand it. Trust my wisdom, even when the path feels unclear. Trust my heart, even when the answers seem delayed. I am never careless with your life. I am never absent from your journey. I am never late. My child, these words were written for you, because I know how easy it is to become discouraged when the road feels long. I know how easy it is to focus on what is missing rather than what is present. I know how easy it is to question your value when progress seems slow. But hear me clearly today. You are loved. You are known. You are seen. You are remembered. You are guided. You are not walking through this season alone. The challenges you face are not evidence that I have abandoned you. The delays you experience are not evidence that I have forgotten you. The questions you carry are not evidence that your faith is failing. I am with you in every chapter. I am working in every season. I am faithful in every circumstance. And as you continue forward, remember this truth. These words were written for you, because I know your heart, I understand your journey, and I have not finished the beautiful work I am doing within your life. Beloved, there are times when you look back over your life and focus more on your mistakes than on my mercy. You remember the opportunities you missed, the words you wish you had not spoken, the decisions you would change if you could. There are moments when regret attempts to convince you that your past is stronger than your future. Yet, I want you to see your story through a different lens. What you call failure, I call a lesson. What you call a mistake, I call a place where wisdom can grow. What you call a ruined chapter, I call a chapter that my grace can still redeem. I do not define you by your worst moment. I do not reduce your identity to a single decision. I do not hold your past over your head as a reminder of where you have fallen. I lead you forward. I teach you. I restore you. My desire is not to keep you trapped in yesterday, but to help you walk confidently into tomorrow. The prophet spoke of my willingness to create something new, rather than keeping my people trapped in former things. Isaiah 43:8. This is the nature of my heart. I am a God of restoration. I am a God of renewal. I am a God who brings hope into places where discouragement once lived. Consider the prodigal son. He wandered far from where he belonged. He made decisions that brought hardship into his life. Yet when he turned toward home, he discovered compassion rather than rejection. He found welcome rather than condemnation. So it is with you. Stop allowing regret to become a permanent residence within your heart. Learn from the past, but do not live there. Let my mercy remind you that your story is still being written. Let my grace remind you that your future remains filled with possibility. My child, there are dreams within you that have not completely disappeared. Even though you have stopped speaking about them, deep within your heart are desires that time has not erased. There are callings that still stir within you. There are hopes that remain alive beneath the surface, waiting for encouragement to breathe again. You have become cautious because disappointment taught you to protect yourself. You have become quiet because repeated delays made you question whether those dreams would ever become reality. Yet I want you to know that not every dream has been forgotten, simply because it has been delayed. What you call forgotten, I call remembered. What you call dormant, I call waiting. What you call impossible, I call an opportunity for faith. The prophet Joel spoke of restoration and renewal after seasons of loss. Joel 2. Restoration does not always mean returning things exactly as they were. Sometimes restoration means bringing something even deeper, stronger and more meaningful than what existed before. Consider Nehemiah. He carried a burden in his heart long before he saw any visible progress. The vision remained alive, even while circumstances seemed unchanged. In time, what existed as a burden became an assignment, and what seemed impossible became achievable through my guidance. So it is with you. Do not assume that every dream has reached its ending simply because it has not yet reached fulfillment. Continue trusting me. Continue allowing hope to remain alive. Continue believing that I am capable of accomplishing more than your current circumstances suggest. Beloved, there are people in your life whom you love deeply, and because you love them, you carry concerns about them. You pray for them. You think about them. You hope for their well-being. Sometimes their struggles become your worries. Sometimes their pain becomes your burden. I see your compassion. I see your concern. I see your prayers. But remember this, my child. The people you love are not beyond my reach. The situations you worry about are not beyond my ability. The hearts you pray for are not hidden from my sight. The apostle encouraged believers to bring their requests before me with trust and thanksgiving, allowing my peace to guard their hearts and minds. Philippians 4:6-7. Peace grows when trust grows. Peace develops when you remember that I am working even when you cannot see immediate evidence. Consider Monica, the mother of Augustine, who prayed faithfully for years before seeing change in her son's life. Her prayers were not wasted. Her faithfulness was not forgotten. What seemed delayed eventually became a testimony of my faithfulness. So it is with you. Continue praying for those you love. Continue trusting me with their lives. Continue believing that I am working in ways you cannot always see. Release the burden of trying to control outcomes and rest in the confidence that I care for them even more deeply than you do. My child, there are moments when loneliness visits your heart. You may be surrounded by people and still feel alone. You may be understood in some ways and misunderstood in others. There are experiences within your journey that few people fully comprehend. Yet loneliness does not mean abandonment. What you call solitude, I sometimes call sacred space. What you call feeling unseen, I call an opportunity to discover my presence more deeply. What you call emptiness, I call room for greater intimacy with me. The psalmist frequently expressed confidence that even when human support seemed limited, my presence remained constant. Psalm 20. Human relationships are valuable, but they were never meant to replace my presence. I remain near during every season. Consider Jacob during his journey. There were moments when he found himself physically alone, uncertain about the future. Yet some of his most significant encounters with me occurred during those very moments of isolation. So it is with you. Do not assume that loneliness means you have been forgotten. I am closer than you realize. I am present in the quiet moments. I am present in the uncertain moments. I am present in the moments when you feel deeply understood, and in the moments when you do not. Beloved, I want you to remember that faith is not the absence of questions. Faith is the decision to trust me, even while questions remain. Too often you assume that strong faith means never experiencing doubt, yet many of my faithful servants walked through seasons filled with questions. What you call doubt, I sometimes call the beginning of deeper understanding. What you call uncertainty, I sometimes call an invitation to seek me more fully. Faith grows stronger when it learns to trust beyond what it can immediately explain. One of my disciples struggled to believe until he experienced greater clarity. Yet his questions did not place him beyond my care. John 20:24-9. I did not reject him because he struggled. I met him where he was and guided him forward. So it is with you. Do not be afraid of bringing your honest questions to me. Do not feel ashamed when you wrestle with uncertainty. I am patient with your growth. I am patient with your process. Bring your questions into my presence and allow me to strengthen your trust one step at a time. My child, as you continue this journey, Remember that your life carries purpose, even in seasons when that purpose feels difficult to recognize. Not every meaningful assignment arrives with recognition. Not every important calling arrives with applause. Sometimes purpose is expressed through quiet faithfulness, simple obedience, consistent kindness, and steadfast trust. What you call ordinary, I call significant. What you call small acts of faithfulness, I call seeds that will bear fruit in their proper season. What you call unnoticed service, I call beautiful obedience. The apostle encouraged believers to remain steadfast in doing good, because their labor was never wasted. 1 Corinthians 5. Faithfulness matters. Integrity matters. Consistency matters. So it is with you. Continue showing kindness. Continue extending grace. Continue choosing integrity. Continue trusting me. Continue walking faithfully. Even when results seem slow, the seeds you are planting today will produce fruit in ways you cannot yet imagine. And as these words settle into your heart, remember this truth above all others. You are loved more deeply than you know. You are seen more clearly than you realize. You are remembered more faithfully than you can imagine. Your life matters. Your prayers matter. Your faith matters. Your journey matters. These words were written for you, beloved, because I know exactly where you are. I understand exactly what you carry, and I remain committed to the good work I am accomplishing within your life. Continue walking with confidence. Continue trusting with hope. Continue resting in my love. I am with you, and I will remain with you through every chapter that is still to come. Beloved, there are times when you wonder whether the small steps you take each day are truly leading anywhere. You look at the distance between where you are and where you hope to be, and the journey seems longer than you expected. You imagined that progress would happen more quickly. You thought certain answers would arrive sooner. You believed certain obstacles would already be behind you. Yet here you are, still walking, still believing, still hoping. And I want you to know that I am pleased with your perseverance. What you call slow progress, I call faithful movement. What you call another ordinary day, I call another opportunity for growth. What you call a small step, I call evidence that you have not given up. The wisdom literature teaches that a person's path becomes clearer and brighter as they continue walking forward. Proverbs 4:18. Notice that the path unfolds gradually. It does not appear all at once. Clarity often grows with obedience. Understanding often grows with experience. Confidence often grows with continued trust. Consider Noah. Long before the rain arrived, he continued building according to my instruction. Day after day, he remained faithful to an assignment that others did not understand. Progress may have seemed slow, but every day of obedience moved him closer to the purpose I had prepared. So it is with you. Do not underestimate the power of consistency. Do not dismiss the value of another faithful day. Continue taking the next step. Continue choosing trust. Continue moving forward. Progress is happening even when it feels gradual. My child, there are seasons when you become frustrated with yourself because you are still healing from things you thought you had already overcome. Old memories resurface. Old fears return. Certain wounds feel tender again. You wonder why healing is taking so long. But healing is not always a straight line. What you call setbacks, I sometimes call deeper layers being restored. What you call weakness, I sometimes call an opportunity for greater healing. What you call returning pain, I sometimes call unfinished restoration, reaching places that still need my touch. The psalmist described me as one who heals the brokenhearted and cares for their wounds. Psalm 147:3. Healing matters to me. Your heart matters to me. The places where you have been hurt matter to me. Consider Joseph. Though he experienced betrayal and hardship, his story did not end in bitterness. Over time, Healing allowed him to see his journey through a wider perspective. The wounds were real, but they did not define the rest of his life. So it is with you. Be patient with your healing. Do not condemn yourself for needing time. Do not assume that because healing is still happening, growth is absent. I am working gently and faithfully within the deepest places of your heart. Beloved, there are moments when you feel pressure to have everything figured out. You look around and see people who appear confident about their direction, their decisions, and their future. Meanwhile, you are still seeking clarity. You are still praying. You are still learning. And sometimes that makes you feel inadequate. But I never asked you to know everything. I asked you to trust me. What you call uncertainty, I call dependence. What you call not knowing, I call an opportunity to walk closely with me. What you call weakness, I call a place where trust can flourish. The prophet Jeremiah spoke of the blessing that comes when people place their confidence in me, rather than relying solely upon their own understanding. Jeremiah 17. Trust creates stability, even when circumstances remain uncertain. Consider Abraham. He stepped forward without knowing every detail about the journey ahead. He did not receive a complete map. He received enough guidance for the next step. Faith carried him forward one day at a time. So it is with you. You do not need complete certainty before taking the next step of obedience. You do not need every answer before moving forward. Trust me with what you do not yet know. I see the entire path, even when you can only see a small portion of it. My child, I know there are moments when you feel forgotten by people you once expected to remain close. Relationships change, priorities shift, communication fades. Sometimes the silence of others creates questions within your heart. Yet human absence does not mean divine absence. What you call being left behind, I call being held by me. What you call losing support, I call discovering a deeper source of strength. What you call loneliness, I call an invitation to experience my faithfulness in a new way. The prophet Isaiah reminded my people that even when human relationships fail, my compassion remains constant. Isaiah 49:50. Human love can be inconsistent. My love is not. Human attention can fade. My attention does not. Consider Paul during difficult seasons of ministry. There were moments when support seemed limited and companionship was scarce. Yet he continued discovering that my presence remained sufficient. So it is with you. Do not measure your value according to who stays or who leaves. Do not define your worth according to the attention you receive from others. You are valuable because I created you. You are loved because I chose you. You are remembered because I hold you close. Beloved, there are blessings in your life that you have not fully recognized because you have become accustomed to them. Familiarity sometimes causes gratitude to fade. You focus on what is missing and overlook what is present. You focus on future hopes and forget present gifts. Yet gratitude changes perspective. What you call ordinary, I often call extraordinary provision. What you call routine, I often call evidence of my daily faithfulness. What you call expected, I often call a gift. The psalmist repeatedly encouraged people to remember my goodness and give thanks for my faithfulness. Psalm 103. Gratitude opens your eyes to blessings that worry often overlooks. Consider the Israelites in the wilderness. There were times when they focused so intensely on what they lacked that they struggled to recognize what had already been provided. Perspective influences peace, so it is with you. Take time to notice the blessings surrounding you. Notice the strength you have gained. Notice the prayers that have already been answered. Notice the people who care for you. Notice the ways I have sustained you through challenges you once thought impossible. My child, there is a future ahead of you that I already see clearly. You cannot see every detail, You cannot predict every turn in the road, but I see it all. I see the opportunities that will arise. I see the growth that will occur. I see the healing that will continue. I see the doors that will open at the proper time. What you call uncertainty, I call known territory. What you call tomorrow, I call a chapter already within my sight. What you call the unknown, I call a future held securely in my hands. The prophet spoke of my plans being filled with hope and purpose for those who trust me. Jeremiah 20. This does not mean every day will be easy. It means that my purpose remains active throughout every season. So it is with you. Walk forward with confidence, not because you know everything, but because you know me. Not because every obstacle has disappeared, but because my presence remains with you. Not because the future is perfectly clear, but because the one guiding you is perfectly faithful. Beloved, as these words settle into your heart, I want you to remember something simple yet powerful. You do not have to earn my love. You do not have to prove your worth. You do not have to strive endlessly for my attention. You already have it. You are my child. You are deeply loved. You are fully known. You are never forgotten. You are never alone. And even now, while you are listening, while you are reflecting, while you are wondering about the days ahead, I am near. I am working in ways you cannot yet see. I am strengthening areas where you feel weak. I am bringing peace to places where anxiety has lingered. I am preparing blessings you have not yet imagined. I am guiding you with wisdom greater than your own. Continue trusting me. Continue walking with me. Continue placing your hope in me. The road ahead may still contain questions, but it also contains my faithfulness, and my faithfulness has never failed you. These words were written just for you, because I know your heart, I understand your journey, and I will remain with you through every step that lies ahead. My child, there are days when you feel as though you are carrying responsibilities that no one else fully understands. Others may see the results of your efforts, but they do not always see the energy it takes to continue. They do not always see the sacrifices you make, the prayers you whisper, or the determination you summon when you feel like stopping. Yet nothing about your journey is hidden from me. I see the strength it takes for you to keep showing up. I see the courage it takes for you to keep believing. I see the faith it takes for you to keep trusting. What you call merely getting through the day, I call perseverance. What you call surviving, I call enduring. What you call ordinary faithfulness, I call something beautiful. The writer of Hebrews encouraged believers to continue running their race with endurance, fixing their attention on what truly matters. Hebrews 12. Endurance is not dramatic. Endurance is often quiet. It is the decision to keep moving forward one step at a time. It is the willingness to trust me, even when the destination is not yet visible. Consider Nehemiah, as he worked to rebuild what had been broken. Opposition came. Discouragement appeared. Challenges emerged from different directions. Yet he continued the work entrusted to him. Progress happened because faithfulness continued. So it is with you. Keep moving forward. Keep trusting me. Keep doing the good that is within your reach today. You do not need to complete the entire journey at once. You only need to take the next faithful step. Beloved, there are seasons when you question whether your kindness truly matters. The world can sometimes seem harsh. Compassion may appear unnoticed. Generosity may seem unappreciated. You may wonder whether choosing patience, grace, and mercy makes any real difference. But I assure you that it does. What you call small acts of kindness, I call seeds. What you call simple encouragement, I call ministry. What you call ordinary compassion, I call evidence of my love working through you. The teachings of Jesus consistently emphasized caring for others, serving others, and reflecting my heart through everyday actions. Matthew 20. Love is powerful because it reflects my character. Kindness matters because it carries the fragrance of my presence. Consider the Good Samaritan. He did not know how far the effects of his compassion would reach. He simply chose mercy when mercy was needed. His willingness to help became an example remembered for generations. So it is with you. Never underestimate the value of kindness. Never assume that your compassion is insignificant. Every act of love matters. Every expression of grace matters. Every effort to reflect my goodness matters. My child, I know there are moments when the future feels uncertain. You wish you could see farther ahead. You wish certain questions already had answers. You wish the path was more clearly marked. Yet uncertainty often creates an opportunity for trust that certainty cannot provide. What you call not knowing, I call learning to depend on me. What you call uncertainty, I call an invitation to deeper faith. What you call waiting for clarity, I call walking closely with me. The psalmist often described trust as a source of stability during uncertain times. Psalm 62:5. Consider Moses standing before situations that seemed larger than his own abilities. He frequently faced circumstances that required trust beyond what he could see. Yet step by step, guidance came, strength came, provision came. So it is with you. The future may not be fully visible, but my faithfulness is already present. The road ahead may contain unknowns, but it also contains my guidance. You do not need to fear what tomorrow holds when you remember who holds tomorrow. Beloved, there are times when you become discouraged because you expected yourself to be stronger by now. You thought certain struggles would already be behind you. You thought certain fears would already be conquered. You thought certain lessons would already be mastered. Yet growth takes time. Character takes time. Wisdom takes time. What you call taking too long, I call growing steadily. What you call imperfect progress, I call progress nonetheless. What you call weakness, I call an opportunity for grace. The Apostle Paul learned that my strength is often displayed most clearly in places where human strength feels insufficient. 2 Corinthians 12:9-10. Dependence upon me is not failure. Dependence upon me is wisdom. Consider Gideon. He initially saw limitations where I saw potential. He focused on weaknesses while I focused on purpose. Yet over time, he learned that victory would not come through self-confidence alone, but through confidence in my presence. So it is with you. Stop measuring yourself only by what still needs improvement. Recognize the growth that has already taken place. Celebrate the lessons you have learned. Acknowledge the strength you have gained. Give yourself the same patience that I extend toward you. My child, I know that some of your deepest concerns involve people you care about. You want them to be safe. You want them to be well. You want them to make wise choices. You want them to experience peace and purpose because you care deeply. You sometimes carry burdens that belong to me. What you call protecting everyone, I call carrying too much. What you call constant concern, I call a burden that needs to be surrendered. Love does not require you to control every outcome. Love invites you to trust me with what is beyond your reach. The Apostle Peter encouraged believers to place their anxieties upon me because I care for them. 1 Peter 5:7. This includes concerns about those you love. This includes situations you cannot change. This includes outcomes you cannot predict. Consider the mother of Moses. There came a moment when she could no longer control every circumstance surrounding her child. She had to trust me with what was beyond her ability to manage, and I remained faithful. So it is with you. Continue praying, continue caring, continue loving, but also continue trusting. The people you care about are not beyond my sight. The situations that concern you are not beyond my ability. Release what you cannot carry and rest in my care. Beloved, there is something beautiful happening within you, even now. It may not always feel dramatic. It may not always be visible. Yet I am shaping your heart. I am strengthening your faith. I am deepening your wisdom. I am teaching you lessons that will serve you in future seasons. What you call ordinary days, I call preparation. What you call routine moments, I call opportunities for growth. What you call slow seasons, I call important seasons. The prophet described how those who trust in me become like healthy trees planted near a constant source of nourishment, remaining strong through changing conditions. Jeremiah 17, deep roots create lasting strength. So it is with you. Every prayer matters. Every act of obedience matters. Every moment spent trusting me matters. The roots are growing deeper than you realize. My child, if you could see your life from my perspective, you would notice countless ways I have protected you, guided you, strengthened you, and sustained you. You would see prayers already answered. You would see dangers avoided. You would see growth accomplished. You would see blessings that arrived quietly and steadily. One day you will understand more clearly. One day you will see connections that are currently hidden. One day you will recognize how faithfully I have been working throughout your story. Until then, trust me. Trust my wisdom. Trust my timing. Trust my love. These words were written just for you, because I know what you carry, I know what you need, and I know the future I am leading you toward. Continue walking forward, beloved. Continue resting in my presence. Continue believing that I am working even when you cannot see every detail. You are loved beyond measure. You are seen completely. You are remembered constantly. And through every season that lies ahead, my faithfulness will remain your steady foundation. Beloved, there are moments when you feel pressure to become someone else in order to be accepted. You see the strengths of others and begin questioning your own. You compare your personality, your gifts, your journey, and even your calling to those around you. You wonder whether you would be more successful if you were different. You wonder whether life would be easier if you possessed someone else's abilities. But I did not create you to become a copy of another person. I created you to become the person I designed you to be. What you call ordinary, I call intentional. What you call different, I call unique. What you call a limitation, I often call a distinctive part of your assignment. The apostle taught that each person has been given different gifts and responsibilities, all designed to work together according to my wisdom. Romans 12:4-6. Diversity within my creation is not an accident. It is part of my design. You do not honor me by becoming someone else. You honor me by faithfully becoming who I created you to be. Consider Esther. There came a moment when her unique position, experiences, and circumstances became exactly what was needed for a particular purpose. No one else could occupy her place. No one else could fulfill her assignment in the same way. So it is with you. Stop measuring your value according to another person's path. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's timeline. I have placed gifts within you that are meant for your calling. I have allowed experiences within your life that are shaping you for your purpose. Trust the way I have created you, my child. There are seasons when you feel as though your efforts are producing little visible fruit. You continue praying, serving, working, learning, and trusting, yet results seem slow to appear. In those moments, discouragement tries to convince you that your efforts are meaningless, but growth often happens beneath the surface, before it becomes visible above it. What you call no progress, I call hidden development. What you call delay, I call roots growing deeper. What you call inactivity, I call preparation. Jesus often used the image of seeds to illustrate spiritual growth, because seeds spend time hidden before they become visible. Mark 4:26-20. During that hidden season, important work is taking place. The growth may not be obvious, but it is real. Consider the farmer who plants a field. After sowing the seed, There is a period when little appears to be happening, yet beneath the soil, life is developing, growth is occurring, the harvest is being prepared long before it becomes visible. So it is with you. Do not assume that nothing is happening simply because you cannot yet see results. Trust the process, trust the growth, trust the work I am doing in hidden places. Beloved, there are memories that still carry emotional weight within your heart. Certain moments from your past occasionally return to your thoughts. Certain wounds still feel tender. Certain disappointments still create sadness. I understand. Healing takes time. Restoration takes time. Growth takes time. What you call scars, I call evidence that healing has already begun. What you call reminders of pain, I call opportunities for grace. What you call broken places, I call places where my compassion can be revealed. The prophet spoke of my desire to bring comfort, healing, and restoration to those who have experienced hardship. Isaiah 61:1. Restoration is not about pretending the pain never existed. Restoration is about allowing hope to grow where hurt once dominated. Consider Job. He experienced profound loss and deep sorrow. The pain was real. The questions were real. Yet his story did not end in despair. Over time, restoration became part of his journey. So it is with you. Do not lose hope, because healing is still unfolding. Do not become discouraged, because certain memories still affect you. I am patient with your process, and I am continuing the work of restoration within your heart. My child, I know there are days when you question whether your prayers are making any difference. You pray for guidance. You pray for wisdom. You pray for healing. You pray for loved ones. Yet because answers do not always arrive immediately, you sometimes wonder whether your prayers matter. They matter more than you realize. What you call simple prayers, I call precious conversations. What you call repeated requests, I call persistence. What you call waiting, I call trust being strengthened. The apostle encouraged believers to remain faithful in prayer, continuing to seek me with confidence and gratitude. Colossians 4:2. Prayer is not merely a way to receive answers. Prayer is a way to deepen relationship. It is a way to align your heart with mine. It is a way to experience my presence more fully. Consider Daniel. He remained faithful in prayer through changing circumstances and difficult seasons. His consistency reflected trust. His faithfulness reflected relationship. So it is with you. Continue praying. Continue trusting. Continue bringing your heart before me. Even when you do not immediately see the answer, I am listening. Even when you do not immediately understand the process, I am working. Beloved, I want you to know that joy is still possible, even during seasons that are not perfect. Too often you postpone joy until every problem is solved, every prayer is answered, and every challenge has disappeared. Yet if joy depends upon perfect circumstances, it will always remain out of reach. What you call waiting for happiness, I call missing today's blessings. What you call needing everything to be resolved, I call placing conditions upon peace. The apostles spoke of a joy that remains available even during difficult circumstances because its source is deeper than external conditions. Philippians 4. Joy grows when you remain connected to me. Peace grows when you trust my presence. Consider Paul writing words of encouragement while facing significant challenges himself. His circumstances were not ideal, yet his confidence remained rooted in something greater than temporary conditions. So it is with you. Allow yourself to notice moments of beauty. Allow yourself to experience gratitude. Allow yourself to laugh, to celebrate, and to appreciate the gifts that exist within the present moment. Joy is not the denial of difficulty. Joy is the recognition that my goodness remains present, even within difficulty. My child, there are people whose lives are being influenced by your example, even when you do not realize it. Someone is watching how you handle disappointment. Someone is observing how you respond to challenges. Someone is learning from your perseverance. Your life speaks. Your choices matter. Your faith influences others. What you call simply living your life, I call leading by example. What you call quiet faithfulness, I call influence. Jesus taught that light is meant to shine, not for self-glory, but so that others may be encouraged and inspired. Matthew 5:14-16. Influence is not always loud. Influence is often quiet, consistent, and steady. Consider Timothy. His faith was shaped by the example of those who invested in him through everyday faithfulness. Their influence extended beyond what they could immediately see. So it is with you. Continue living with integrity. Continue choosing kindness. Continue walking in faith. The impact of your life reaches farther than you know. Beloved, as you reflect on these words, remember that I am not asking you to carry tomorrow today. I am not asking you to solve every problem at once. I am not asking you to possess every answer before moving forward. I am asking you to trust me, one day at a time, one step at a time, one prayer at a time. The teachings of Jesus repeatedly pointed people back to the importance of trusting me with each day, rather than becoming overwhelmed by the future. Matthew 6:34. Grace is available for today. Strength is available for today. Wisdom is available for today. So it is with you. Focus on today's faithfulness. Focus on today's opportunities. Focus on today's blessings. Allow tomorrow to remain in my hands. You are loved, beloved. You are seen. You are known. You are guided. You are never forgotten. These words were written just for you, because I know your heart and I care deeply about your journey. Continue walking forward with confidence, knowing that my presence goes before you, remains beside you, and surrounds you with unfailing love. Beloved, as this time together comes to a close, I want you to carry these truths with you. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not abandoned. You are not walking through life alone. Every step you have taken, I have seen. Every prayer you have prayed, I have heard. Every tear you have shed, I have noticed. Every burden you have carried, I have understood. What you call uncertainty, I call an opportunity to trust me more deeply. What you call waiting, I call preparation. What you call weakness, I call a place where my strength can sustain you. What you call an unfinished story, I call a life that is still being shaped by my loving hands. Remember the lessons I have spoken to your heart today. Trust my timing even when the answers seem delayed. Trust my wisdom even when the path is unclear. Trust my love even when circumstances try to tell a different story. I have been faithful in your past. I am faithful in your present, and I will remain faithful in your future. My child, there are blessings ahead that you cannot yet see. There are prayers being answered in ways you do not yet understand. There are doors that will open at the proper time. There is healing continuing beneath the surface. There is growth taking place within your spirit. There is purpose unfolding through your journey. Do not lose heart. Do not surrender your hope. Do not allow fear to speak louder than my promises. Keep walking with me. Keep trusting me. Keep bringing your heart before me. Day by day, step by step, I will continue guiding you. When you feel weak, I will strengthen you. When you feel uncertain, I will lead you. When you feel weary, I will renew you. When you feel alone, I will remind you that my presence has never left your side. And whenever you need reassurance, remember this simple truth. These words were written just for you because you are loved. Not because you have earned that love, but because it is my nature to love you. Not because you are perfect, but because you are my child. Not because your journey has been easy, but because I have chosen to walk with you through every season. Thank you for spending this time in my presence. Thank you for opening your heart and allowing these words to settle within your spirit. Never forget that you are seen, known, valued, and deeply loved. If this message encouraged your heart, subscribe and enable notifications so you do not miss the next message from the throne. Rest in my peace, walk in my love, and move forward in faith. Amen.